Hello and welcome back to another housing video with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're looking at the Cosmo furniture added in patch 7.31 with the Faena or Faena, depending on how you want to pronounce this particular planet addition to Cosmic Exploration. Basically, there are 5 items in total that you can get from either the market board, because they're all market tradable, or of course from Faena itself, from the moon as well, I believe, with your Cosmo credits. Cosmo credits then is a currency that you can get from doing stellar missions, and depending on how well you do on your stellar missions depends on how many Cosmo credits you get. And we'll also need Faena credits as well for this, for the new Lucky Spin system over there at the Cosmic Fortunes. We'll get to that in a second. So out of the 5 items that you can get then, the new housing items, we can get 2 from the vendor with Cosmo credits. First, we have the docking station cover, which is an outdoor furnishing, which I guess you could imagine as one of the covers that you can see around the place, which kind of reminds me of a bush shelter. That's 3,000 Cosmo credits, and is also a Cosmic Circumferbench. That's a mouthful, which is another outdoor furnishing for 3,000. So both of the outdoor furnishings come from the credits themselves, and you'll get both of those for 6,000. There is also the Cosmic Fortunes. If we go over to the Cosmic Fortunes, also on Faena, you can spin a new Faena credits, specifically Faena credits, 1,000 at a time, to go in exchange for a variety of housing items. As you can see on here, we have the Cosmo kitchen partition coming up as one of the potential wins from a spin. What's the chance of me being able to do this live? Very impossible. That's basically what you normally get. But yes, there are a multitude of items, and if we go out of here, out of the 5, there are 3. There's the Cosmo Seat, which is a new furnishing for indoor spaces that is dyeable. A portable Exo Terminal, which is also dyeable, which kind of looks a bit like a PlayStation. We'll get to that in a moment. And the Cosmo Kitchen Partition. All of these items then are pretty much easy to obtain. They are kind of consolation prizes outside of getting the new mounts. So let's go look at these. Okay, then here we are at our FC large plot. I thought this would be a nice place to preview these. First then, the docking station cover. It says a freestanding roof to shelter one's rover from natural hazards. I'm kind of hoping that we get the rover as a mount in the future. That would be kind of awesome. So this is what that looks like then. It really does look like a bush shelter, although I guess albeit a modern one. I don't think you would find those necessarily in the United Kingdom. Although the neon light's really cool, that's going to be quite nice to see. It's very similar to the Chocobo stables. It would be nice if we could put Chocobos under this or something. It's quite nice, actually, isn't it? It's not a bad looking item by any stretch of the imagination. If you wanted to create something to cover something, maybe you want to make a shelter or something, you could put this up against a wall, maybe. Yeah, you would kind of sacrifice the neon lights, though, if you had it that way around, in my opinion. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. In terms of its dyeability then, let's see. Should we have a guess? Which place is going to change color? Will it be the roof, or will it be like this sort of ceramic? It is like the ceramic surround and not the roof. Actually, does the roof change color? No, it doesn't. Okay, there you go. That's a better representation of what exactly is dying here. So you keep the neon strip, the RGB gaming bush shelter. That's what we'll call this. It looks pretty cool, actually. I can imagine a lot of people using this. I do wish that we just had more housing placement slots. I think somebody at PAX West, or was it Gamescom, they slipped in social media that they asked Yoshi P, and supposedly they're going to be trying to focus on doubling the amount of housing placement slots across the board for smalls, mediums, and larges. I'll believe it when I see it. I really badly need more space to store things, and we get a lot of items now, especially housing items, from all kinds of things, including variant modes. There's housing items, there's a new the treasure map dungeon, there's the new deep dungeon coming out soon that'll have new housing items presumably. So it's kind of like the perfect time to update it. It's not a terrible looking item, but again, at this point, I can't really think about what I would like to cover up personally. In terms of like the collision detection on this, of course, you will be able to jump on top of this, no problem. So if you want to make, maybe you've got a balcony on your free company estate and you want something that's a little bit more in keeping, that, I don't know, maybe you want to cover for some reason, that could work quite well. The other outdoor item then is the Cosmic Circumferbench, which is a marvel of space-saving public infrastructure. This lamppost incorporates 360-degree seating area. All right, let's see what this is like. Actually, that's a little bit bigger than I expected. Wow, it's not massive. I kind of hoped it would take up more space. We could even put like some stones around it. No, that looks silly. I'll put those back around our striking dummy. Yeah, I mean, we've seen these obviously in Cosmic Exploration on the moon and of course on Phaena, mostly the moon though, right? And their seats. So you'd be able to seat quite a lot of people around here. I'm guessing it snaps to specific places. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's cool. All right, then let's guess what's going to be the dyeable section. I'm guessing the bench itself and the metal. Yeah, I was right, actually. I didn't expect to be correct about that one. That's pretty cool. So if you want to match some stuff, there is a bit of Cosmic Exploration housing items in this patch, and of course in the previous patch with the moon. And you know, we've got another 2 planets / moons or planetary bodies that we're going to be going to, so hopefully we get some more eccentric pieces of space type stuff that could be quite cool. Yeah, this is going to look good in a variety of colors, and wow, that looks just the neon yellow. Yeah, so if you want something futuristic for your front yard, yeah, I could think of a lot worse things. What I'm really excited about though is to go indoors and look at the indoors items, because that's the thing I care most about. So this is the last 3 items. We got the Cosmo table, the Cosmo chair, and the Cosmo lamp, if you remember, from the previous Cosmic Exploration update. Those were the housing items for indoor spaces. Now then, we have the portable Exo Terminal, and it says, developed by the Cosmic Exploration Initiative. This device was designed for the purpose of easily sending mass updates to Exo tablets, whether at camp or in the field, though some Laporets have been caught red-pawed using it to design frivolous games. Awesome. So yeah, obviously the implication there is that it's supposed to look a little bit like a games console or something like that. If we put that on the Cosmo table, I think that looks absolutely perfect. So the back of this then has really nice detail. It's got this obviously RGB, sort of, it's, you know, the gaming lights of the future. And then we also have this little antennae on the back there with a hinge. And on the front then, this is exactly the same pad that you would see on the moon. You might have seen this. Actually, this is starting to annoy me because this is not centered. Oh boy, Snap to Grid, please save me. Okay, there we go. That's as centered as we can get it, apparently, according to Snap to Grid. Sorry, it was majorly irritating me looking at this not in the center of the table. Apparently, that's dead on. But as I was saying, you see the Laporets use these for the Cosmic Fortune minigame and other things. We've got this kind of nice sheen texture on the screen itself with some kind of telemetry. There's all sorts of star signs on here and different constellations and presumably information on where we're going and, you know, where their data links up to. It's quite a thick thing. It does remind me a little bit of like the portable PlayStation. Do you remember the PS1 where you could get a portable screen and you could plug into the back of that? I don't know. It gives me 90s vibes, 90s peripheral vibes, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. I don't think we can make any detail out on here. I think it's just gibberish that is sort of applied as a texture. It's really cool though, isn't it? Really, really cool. In terms of the color, presumably it's the like outer shell of the device that changes. Yeah, okay, so it's probably best looked at from this direction. Yeah, black looks cool. So yeah, if you're trying to tailor this to a futuristic area, for example, maybe you've made a spaceship like I have and intend to build upon when I did my skit about basically making a Star Trek, huge Star Trek reference with the Ragnarok this is the perfect sort of accompaniment to that. We've got all kinds of things from Solution 9 that are technical and futuristic, you know, be that weight machines, be that computer screens, computerized desks, and now we've got space stuff, and I can't wait to see what other things we get in the next update. Very cool stuff. It does quite nicely, actually. Quite like it in blue, and of course you'd want to tailor all of the stuff to the same color, and eventually, hopefully, we can recreate what one of the habitat units look like that we've seen on the moon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they give us all of those bits and pieces. Another really cool feature about this particular computer is you can actually interact with it and turn off the monitor screen as well. So if you don't want this particular image showing, you can just click it and it flicks off. And then when you click it back on, it does that whole thing where it like sort of like it powers on and then flashes. Look, how cool is that? That is such an unnecessary but so welcome and fun detail. I love that. The next item then is the Cosmo Seat. It says a futuristic bench developed for use on distant stars. Though visually appealing, its unyielding surface has led more than one overworked initiative member to question whether the future must needs be such a pain in the arse. Yeah, so this is a deliberately painful bench. Oh, dude, that does look painful. This reminds me of the things the council puts in parks. At least they do in the UK. I think I've seen these on videos in the US as well, where they deliberately try to make benches as uncomfortable as possible for people who are hard of, between homes at the moment, hard off. And yeah, this looks quite painful, actually. It seem to be made of brass and some kind of alloy, so that's going to be quite painful on the buttocks, I would imagine. It's really cool, though. I can imagine putting this in, like I say, into a sort of futuristic space sort of setup. There is definitely something for everybody in Dawntrail, isn't there? Unless you don't like futuristic stuff. Very cool. We've got lots of modernized things as well as space age things. Hopefully we get a mix of stuff in the next expansion and have a little bit more high fantasy again for some of the furnishings. But we already have quite a bit of that in the game. But it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. Yeah, it dies really nicely, doesn't it? I like the lighting being on both the front and the back so that you're not necessarily having to push this against a wall just to get the RGB. You can also rotate this around. Looking pretty good. And then the last item from the 7.31 update is the Cosmo Kitchen Partition. This is something that's starting to get to where I want it to be in terms of being able to build the habitats. So the habitats, if you don't know, just to reiterate, here's a quick look at those on the moon. There's basically these units that you can go inside that have sliding doors. They are beautiful, they are well decorated, they look literally like a space set. If we go back to this then, this is the Cosmo Kitchen Partition. It says, this futuristic partition incorporates a compact pantry and sink, as well as a helpful memo reminding users that even in the great expanse, everyone can smell your unwashed dishes. That's very true. Very, very true. This is also dyeable, as you'd imagine, and it is enormous, which is what we want. So again, like I say, this very much has the use for the background. Like, we could definitely put things in front of this and use that side as a really effective background, and obviously color that because it's paneled. Kind of looks like a futuristic interior of a spaceship, so it's, you know, ticking those boxes immediately. The side could be used because it looks kind of like bulkheads, especially the other side. Actually, let's go this way. There you go. So you could have that as a bulkhead, maybe put a sliding door between this. That would be quite nice. Yeah, and then obviously you've got the feature side, which has the beautiful sort of futuristic spaceship Enterprise interior walls. And then we have the really cool details. We've got a big sink. So if you've wanted a sink in the game that's been built into a unit as part of it, rather than being, you know, separate standalone pieces, this partition has everything that I personally would want from that specific partition. I would love to see other partitions as well, and some flooring. That's the next thing on my list. Hopefully they do that. There's the memo to remember to actually wash your dishes. The sink itself is fairly straightforward. They've made as close to a circle as they physically can there. And then, of course, we've got all these rations. I'd like to think that some of these are like coffee beans or something, similar to the sort of packs that you would find. And then there's even branded like cans of beans or something, or sweet corn with the spaceship. I don't know what that says. What does that say? Uz? It says like USCGI something. Maybe like that's the, you know, part of that spaceship, whatever the spaceship's called. Maybe that's like their branding. And then you've got the Cosmo logo on there. There's such a lot of detail on this. This is like the best bit. And the best thing about these is that they're incredibly easy to get. All of these housing items that I've showed you are all constellation, well, pun intended, constellation prizes from either the Cosmic Fortunes or just straight up for credits. Which means that the market value on these is about 1,000 gil per piece. Yeah, so if you want to make a futuristic house, you could just get tons of these on a very low budget and have a great time. In terms of dieability then, just quickly for this unit, it is, of course, the big panels at the top. A little bit disappointed, actually. I was kind of hoping that the bottom section would die as well, but I think it does make sense for that sort of double paneled padded section to die. Yeah, so you can have like bright reds and things to match with your furnishings. It's pretty cool, isn't it? At least I think it's pretty cool. I'd probably have it like military gray or something, you know, or what was it? Gubu gray or something. That's the inside of every spaceship ever, right? But yeah, I think for the most part, I will probably end up using this as a flat wall and get a couple of these because they're so cheap. And then refurnish my space area. Having a bunch of those walls together really does look pretty cool. It looks very futuristic and very spacey. And yeah, I think they're on a good path to making some really cool sci-fi parts. And I hope they continue. I want carpets next. Like proper space carpets with like the Cosmic Exploration logo on them or something. That'd be sick. And maybe some other furnishings as well, because I think that the chairs look really good in this sort of situation. But yeah, we need some like shelving units and things like that as well. I don't think I'm ever going to stop asking for too many things, am I? But yeah, this looks really cool. I love it. Very cool stuff. Anyway, let me know if you've picked up any of these items yet, if you are even interested in them. They are incredibly cheap. And let me know if you're enjoying Feyena or not. I know a lot of people are taking this opportunity to take a break from the game until the next patch. I don't blame you. See you in 7.35. Bye-bye.